So I've been saying it since the creation of this channel. There is an agenda and there is money behind splitting up the two genders and causing us to live separately. They want men to not like women, they want women to not like men and rely on the government. And the government, or the elites for lack of better terms, are going to be using shaming tactics to make young men feel discouraged for being a man, feel depressed that they were born a male, and make women feel like they should be worshipped, they should be praised, and make them feel like they are above the man and they do not need a man. And in this article I'm about to share with you guys, you will see just how far the funding and the support and the indoctrination goes when it comes to turning young women against young little boys and making young boys feel discouraged from being a man, from being a young boy, and actually have to apologize for being born a male. The indoctrination is starting younger and younger, and things like this happen all the time. The only reason the story was leaked was because a mother was upset about it and she spoke out and she wanted national coverage of what was going on. But you better believe that this goes on all the time and it's not reported, and this is only going to continue as the gender divide continues to grow worldwide. With no further ado, let's dive into this article. Broward College in Warrnambool makes boys apologize on behalf of their gender to female peers at school assembly. A mother at a Victorian school has opened up about her disgust after male students as young as 12 were directed to, quote unquote, stand up and apologize to their female peers. What a clown world we live in, guys. You are forced as a 12-year-old, you don't even know how the world operates, to stand up and apologize for being born male. It comes as intimacy harassment in Australian schools is widely discussed, with the state government making intimacy consent classes mandatory across Victorian schools as of next month. Parent at Broward College in Warrnambool, Danielle Shepherd, told NCA Newswire her son has been left confused and upset by the incident at an all-school assembly on Wednesday. They watched a video to do with intimacy consent, and at the end of it, they were made to stand up and apologize to the opposite gender on behalf of their own gender, she said. At 12 years old, you don't even understand what intimacy is for the most part, unless you've been exposed to certain things in your household. But these young children at the age of 12, when they don't even understand what life is, what consent is, what consent isn't, different forms of assault, at 12 years old, you are told to hate yourself and to hate your gender because of something that you yourself haven't even been a part of and you yourself have no idea about, but you're forced to apologize for something you didn't do. And also, let me say this right now, males aren't the only ones that are affected by ASSAULT. But the media and what they want promoted is that it's only males that are doing these things and these acts to women because they are promoting and pushing a certain agenda. Now I understand, yes, there are a lot of instances where women are affected and that is horrible and I'm opposed to that. But to make 12-year-olds and young children apologize for being born a male and showing them a video describing consent and ASSAULT to them, it just blows my mind, and exposing kids to this at an early age really messes with their minds. She goes on and says he's upset by it. He now has this misconception that everybody looks at him and males as predators or somebody wishing to do harm to someone in an intimate manner. Seriously, he's 12. Ms. Shepherd said that she agrees with the topic of intimate consent being raised and discussed, but said the school's tactic on Wednesday was, quote unquote, terribly executed. They've signaled out an entire gender. It's so wrong, she said. And this is a woman speaking. This is a mother speaking. Thank God that she is standing up. One Snapchat post, understood to be by a male student at the school, also took aim at the assembly, saying, today at Broward, they made every guy stand up and apologize to every girl for G-R-A-P, minus the G. Intimacy assault, and so on. Guys go through as much feces as girls do, the post said. The school clarified the move in a message sent to parents on Thursday, conceding the gesture was inappropriate. At the assembly, we spoke about the difficult topic of derogatory and intimately driven language and harm against women. The assembly also covered the idea of bystander action and how students have the power to play a role in stopping inappropriate behavior. Principal Jane Boyle wrote, "As part of these discussions, the school's boys were asked to stand as a symbolic gesture, apologize for the behaviors of their gender that have hurt or offended girls and women. I'd like to assure you that this was conceived with the best of intentions. However, in retrospect, we recognize that this was inappropriate." You think? What the? Did it take you to have people get frustrated and angry for you to come to the conclusion that, hey, maybe making 12-year-olds and elementary school kids that don't even really know about intimacy in the first place, having their parents apologize and these kids lose their mind and feel terrible for being born males and having an article written about it and being called out, oh, suddenly I see the light in the error of my ways and I apologize for making these students a part of an assembly geared towards hating them being born men. This is the world we live in. It's a whole clown world. This is a clown world we live in. And it's only going to get worse, unfortunately. And this is the type of BS that the left is pushing out and promoting. The agenda here, as I said before, is to create a gender divide. They don't want men and women together. They want us separated, because when we are separated, and more so oftentimes than not, women, when they are separated from the male, they're the gender that looks for leadership. When men are put into positions of leadership in that household, and when they separate you, and the women go one way, the men go the other way, women are going to look for leadership in the government and handouts given to them under the guise of leadership, because that's what they're really looking for. They're looking for leadership. But once they separate the two genders like this, we're going to see the government offer more and more money to support the separation of the two. And I pulled up this article from CNBC just to show you how far they are going with supporting the gender divide and gender war. Goldman Sachs pledges $10 billion to support advancement of Black women. Okay? The reason Goldman Sachs is pledging $10 billion to support the advancement of Black women and not the Black people as a whole, and shout out to New Breed to the world over, that's where I got this article from, is because they want women completely independent of men and completely dependent on Big Daddy government to give them handouts, to give them money, to incentivize them to remain single, and incentivize them to keep working long hours and slaving away at a job at corporate America where they're not focused on raising children, where they're not focused on the family unit as a whole. That is their goal, because in return, and we can keep going down the rabbit hole, that creates a decrease in the population. But at the end of the day, intimacy, ASSAULT, should not be about any specific gender. It should be about respecting people and their boundaries. Not just a man's, not just a woman's, just people's boundaries.